Going back to the track list. We went from Habits, Fiend into Habits, going into this one. Brand new ID together with Antoine Delvic. But it's fun. It actually worked. I prepared this track list sort of, and it worked. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But just in case it didn't work, I already came prepared, bro. Backup plan. Always have a few records, like have a little folder with, call it play the hits, as my friend Shaul always says, or call it Lifesaver, Butt Saver, I'm out of records, I don't know what to play anymore. Always these records. These guys in Paris always works. Bohemian Rhapsody always works. We Will Rock You always works. Gonna make an edit of it. Dr. Dre Still DRE always works. Next episode always works. There's a whole list of records. If you go through people's DJ sets, you will see like, these records always work. Eminem, 8 Mile always works. A lot of Eminem songs actually always work. There's so many songs that always work. Have these in your artillery. And then another thing, always sneak one into your set, or maybe even two. Don't want to seem too cheesy, because else it's going to seem like, this guy's just playing 2000s top 40. But sprinkle some. And have them ready as a backup, in case like you played 6 IDs and everyone's like, oh my god, what's going on? You're like, oh my god, I messed up. I took out the energy, no one's dancing. Usher, yeah, remix. Or Usher, yeah, edit. Save. Restart, you get another chance. This is the greatest thing about DJing. If they don't like the song you're playing, make the next song a song that they like. If they do not like the song that you are playing, make the next song you play a song that they are liking. Super simple. Get them back to dancing. Going from this into the remix. Sagittarius, Afrojack. Going into, like now the vibe is back in there. There's some nice vocal. So now I can try something new. And here is something we made for that night. Kutmug, aka Crap Mosquito, or Pussy Mosquito. Swen Fuse, Julian Cross. Super fire. I love this record. Then a little Kendrick Lamar vocal they put over it. I already played it in the set, but it was so far in the background. I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter. I love it. Super hard techno. So like I took the risk. I said, okay, like already in preparation, like, it's Tomorrowland winter. Techno is getting some hype. I always loved techno, but you know what? I would love to give it a try. And so I did a little bit with this Kutmug record, like exceptionally. But just to make sure I was ready in case they didn't like it, I had my own record together with Hardware ready, Push It. Then for this, accidentally at Tomorrowland one time, we played it together and he said like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Gasolina. Then I found Gasolina on my stick and I played it over this record and it became a whole thing, went viral on social media. So I had like, in case they didn't like the original record, which happens when you play a festival, sometimes not everyone likes all your songs. I had a backup plan, but it worked. Then had the Turbulence edit. Worked like crazy. Oh, you know how that goes. Then also I had this record that I really wanted to play. Like I've really been obsessed with drum and bass lately. So I have the perfect edit into drum and bass. Stay by Bieber and Kid Laroi, but into a very aggressive drum and bass remix. Or a drum and bass drop actually. Of course, this is still one of the biggest sing-alongs in any type of set. And what I love about it is like playing the original makes you look really cheesy. It's like, wow, is he playing original pop #1 song from a year ago? But then when he played like this, you're like, oh, no, no, he didn't. Same thing there. So it's like you go from extreme pop, like, wow, is he playing Justin Bieber? To going like, oh my god, that's a hard drop. And then actually adding still the vocals of Kid Leroy over it. Like, oh my god, it actually fits together harmonically. Of course, people on the dance floor, they're not thinking this consciously, but they feel it, they experience it, they hear it. And when they look back at the sets, even critics, DJ critics could never say like, wow, what a boring set. Well, they could say it, but like technically from a musical perspective, it's not boring. It's a little bit contrastful, it's a little bit all over the place, but it's definitely not boring. Same thing here, we go into the Hey Mama Julian Cross drum and bass edit. Thing is, the vocal right before that drop is actually from the DJ Hype remix of the Fugees' Ready or Not, which is like 20 years, maybe even 23 years old. And that was one of the first drum and bass songs I ever heard. So big shout out to DJ Hype for making that remix and being one of the founders of drum and bass. And yeah, like I said, I like to bring together multiple worlds. So you have Afrojack, David Guetta, Hey Mama, Julian Cross with his new drum and bass record, and still a little DJ Hype, just the nod of respect, you know. Then I was so happy the music was working. I got excited, and then I played like a pretty big drum and bass record from the last few years, In the City by Bass Trapper. Sorry, Bass Tripper. So of course this record's gigantic in drum and bass, but to main stage Tomorrowland audience, they probably didn't know it. So drum and bass fans in the audience would probably go like, oh my god, he's playing that song, that's crazy. And Tomorrowland people just got to enjoy a crazy record. And that also went off. So I kept going a little bit on my drum and bass theme. So I played my friend's Primate with Sota's track Realize, but also for this, I have the, how you say, call it a commercial edit. She's in love with who I am. Back in high school, I used to bust it to the dance. Do some Drake, Travis Scott sicko mode. So basically what I try to do is I try to basically play towards two audiences at the same time and make it work harmonically. So on one side, oh, like he's playing that big hip hop song that I can sing along to. And on the other side, I'm playing a very hard drum and bass record. It's almost not even drum and bass anymore. This is like pure jump out. So what's happening there, and that's why I said like this isn't even just drum and bass, it's like full on jump out. There are so many fake outs that even the first time I heard that record, it's like, wait, what's going on here? So you can imagine playing that at Tomorrowland main stage. It's like very, very advanced. Now, I do have to say the people at Tomorrowland Winter usually are pretty big music aficionados, because going to Tomorrowland Winter for a whole week in a secluded village in the middle of the French Alps, it's like you must love music a lot. And they've been listening to music for 6 days, so they probably know what's going on a little bit. But yeah, that was very deep in. After that, did my edit of Fred Again, Leave Me Alone. And there's a lot of Fred Again fans lately, so that was fun. And then went into my edit of Ecstasy from Delta Heavy, with a little nod to the original EDM sound of Showtek. Show us what you got when the motherfucking beat drops. Amazing. So that's one of my favorite records to play. But also here, like, when you think like, drum and bass, it's like, it's too underground or it's too new for the main stage crowd. If you just explain it to them by using samples like Showtech Cannonball, now I get it. You know, like, basically it's like, you don't understand this record. Wait. 1, 2, 3, let's go. So try to think with your audience. How far are they? How far on the music spectrum are they? Are they going to be excited when you play a classic from Speedy J, or are they going to look at you like, what is this 25-year-old rave music? Two different reactions. Well, if I hear someone play Speedy J Pullover, which is a very old song, I'm like, oh my God, it's Pullover. But if my mom is at a festival and someone's playing Speedy J Pullover, she goes like, what is this? Or if there's new tech house fans, like probably James Hype fans, for example, being at a show and then listening to someone play 145, 155 BPM original Belgium bonsai label music, they're gonna also be like, it's a different experience. No offense to the James Hype fans at all, but I'm just saying, like, every song can be picked up differently by different crowds. So you want to be prepared for some people not understanding the record you're playing and have the next record ready to find some more common ground, you know? This is very important. Of course, also, sometimes you can accidentally get sucked into whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what happened to me in this set. Like, wow, they're still having fun. Okay, let's go to Badadan with Bad, where I did the same trick. You take a brand new hard drum and bass, poppy drum and bass record. No disrespect, Chase and Status, they're the original OGs, but yeah, of course it's a radio record now. Everyone knows the record, everyone knows the lyrics. It won a Brit Award, I think. But still, for the people that don't know it, make it a little bit more fun. Add David Guetta, Bad. And I made this edit to lead it into a different record. But it doesn't actually lead into something else. But I think this is the record I played afterwards. I'm pretty sure it shows in my track list. Which is actually funny. So this is Left to Right by Odd Mob, which is a very big tech house record. But I was like, I'm sure they never heard the drum and bass mix. Because I didn't hear the drum and bass remix before. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fat. And it's not too complicated. There's some cool sounds happening. There's some cool synths happening. The vocals still going on. But the beat is super simple. Super simple. So even people that didn't really hear drum and bass before, this might be one of the simplest way to teach them drum and bass. And also because the records before that I played, Badadan, Ecstasy, Leave Me Alone, and Realize, and also even In the City by Bass Tripper, are a little bit more advanced than the standard. This was like a little good closer to really get them to understand of everything that I was doing. And then I noticed my time was up, so I went into my classic edit of Blinding Lights with a build up in speed towards Turn Up the Speakers with Cinema in the break. And as you can see, I've played this mashup already 49 times in the last year. Actually, in the last 10 months. Since the 22nd of July, which was actually premiered at the original Tomorrowland. And this is one of those records where I say this is a lifesaver. It's like it goes into a big pop record that everyone knows the vocals from. Blinding Lights, slow down, breathe. No matter what you played before, you can play this. And it starts with hey, woohoo, yay, hey. Is that Turn Up the Speakers in the background? Oh my God. So it starts at 87 BPM, half of 174 BPM. So no matter what you play before, it will always go towards sounding fast. It sounds fast again. Even though we were just listening to 174 BPM 4 to the floor, but because there is that halftime build up, it gives you the space to close strongly with some nice classic 128, 130 BPM classics. And then, of course, closed with, well, I cannot really forget this record. I actually forgot to play 10 Feet Tall, so apologize to any fans that were there. They were only there to hear 10 Feet Tall. But it seemed like the party was good enough for everyone to kind of like be okay with it. And honestly, I never really heard anyone complain during the fire away part in Titanium. So like, fire away, fire away. What about 10 Feet Tall? It's like, no. Good party is a good party. Classic edit with Hot Mouth Flash. With Hands Up, an edit I did of UMAC, I think the record is Dark Market, I don't remember. Maybe a different record, but definitely UMAC record. Into Tremor, Hey Brother from Avicii, Into Tremor. This, by the way, this mashup did about 10 million views on YouTube. Also, how you say, the original on Tomorrowland premiered. People like to be surprised. Add some fireworks, that was the end of the show. So, even though it was 33 tracks, and the set was only 1 hour, I think it took me about half an hour to explain you the set. And if you look into the records, if you see the amount of vocals, of edits that are happening, like even this final Titanium record, it's Titanium, Foot Rocker, Mighty Fools, Hey Brother, Avicii, Martin Garrix's Tremor, the bass or the kick stems from Joyride, Hot Drum, Hartwell, Hands Up, and UMAC, some techno record. Sorry, UMAC, I forgot the name of the record. So you have 7 tracks in 4 minutes and 30 seconds, out of which 30 seconds is a mix in and 30 seconds is a fade out. So in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you have 7 records. Very tiny pieces, but it makes everything a lot more impactful. And the same thing if you look at all these records. I don't see any original record in here, just some IDs. I actually skipped one record by accident. That was the World's on Fire remix with Go Chase Somebody I Used to Know with Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. So I think that the standard for me is to try to always have 2-3 records rolling at the same time. But instead of doing it live and taking a lot of risk and figuring out the mix live and being so focused on my decks, I actually like to make these mashups in advance so I can enjoy the party with the people and not be worried about this sample and that sample and having to do too many DJ skills. I do it sometimes with some acapellas. I have some fun with it, especially when I'm freestyling. But one thing that I started noticing if I look back at my sets is when I did everything manually, and I did that for a while, like 60 or 70 records in an hour, I was like, I looked at the set and I just see me looking down all the time. Yeah, and continue looking down. And it's not, I don't think that's very entertaining to watch, like a guy just looking down in his decks. Big respect for James Hyde to be able to entertain people and do all the things at the same time. But yeah, in my case, I think 33 records in about 1 hour is more than enough. And just make it mashups. Up to you how you want to do it. This is how I made this track list. This is how the track list came together. This was Afrojack at Tomorrowland Winter. This was the chapter of, what was the chapter? My playlist. My playlist. This was my playlist. There we go.